morning, students, and it is Thursday, September 27th on your KSAC News. And here's today's top story. Today we have a special interview with Becca Mercer and two students with their own perspectives about this year's upcoming presidential election, which involves both Republican and Democratic. Now, please respect both parties while the students are speaking by not booing, chanting, or clapping during this interview. It is important to hear both political views and use Christian principles and sound judgment to help make your decision. Although most of us are not 18 and eligible to vote, we should be aware of the issues our country is facing today and pray that God will place the right candidate in office to lead. Once again, no booing, chanting, or clapping during the interview. Now over to Becca with the special report.
Hey guys, this is Rebecca Mercer for your political segment of the month, where we try to encourage our SAC student body to get involved for the upcoming general election on November the 6th. Now today I'm here with two local politically active teens, Connor Pfeiffer, who is the chairman of the High School Republicans of Texas, and Elisa Kurzbon, who is a member of Alamo Heights High School's Young Democrats. Thank you guys so much for being here today. Why is the youth vote so important in this upcoming election?
I think the youth vote is important just because there's a lot of issues that do impact us both from the economy's perspective as we're going into college, and then are going to be the new job and workforce, and then also just the social issues that also affect us.
And what about you, Connor?
Well, first of all, the youth is a very large demographic in the electorate. There's several million voters who are in the youth category. It's also important in terms of the strategy of the presidential election because President Obama overwhelmingly carried the youth over John McCain in 2008. So it's an important demographic for both candidates to try to appeal to in their policies and their rhetoric in order to try to help get more votes.
Now, Connor, what do you believe are the two most important issues?
Coming out of the 2008 global recession, the election's really about, for the American people, what president, whose plan, and also going back on President Obama's record as president, who will create the most jobs and help the economy recover the fastest with an economy still struggling from this recession. The second most important issue, I think, and this is an issue up for debate, I think it's really a tie between the deficit and debt and foreign policy. Foreign policy has been shifted into prominence now because of unrest in the Middle East and dealing with China and other issues, China, Iran, Syria, and other issues abroad. The deficit will be important, especially for young voters, because we're now up to $16 trillion in debt. Both parties have plans in order to try to reduce the deficit, and voters have to really determine what party they believe will do a better job of getting our fiscal house back in order so we don't face further debt downgrades and eventually fiscal insolvency here in the United States.
And how about you, Elisa? Which are the two main issues you think are most predominant in this upcoming election?
I have to agree with Connor that the economy is definitely the most important issue with the election, especially since the two candidates have very different views on how they want to tackle the problem. I think the other important issue is healthcare, especially with the Supreme Court decision that just came out, and how that's really going to affect everyone, and that also ties directly in with the economy. So I think that's a very important issue.
Why do you think that our President Barack Obama should be reelected?
I think he should be elected. He stands for a lot of what I believe in, both in the ways he wants to approach taking care of the economy, not having tax breaks for millionaires, and also like his views on social issues resonate with me much more than those of Mitt Romney, just both gay rights, women's rights, and especially as a minority, a lot of the different voting rights that's coming out through the voter ID laws.
And Connor, why do you believe that Mitt Romney should be the next president of the United States?
Well, I think what it comes down to in this election is what President Obama has accomplished in his 4 years as president against what he promised in 2008 during the campaign. So I believe that Mitt Romney's plans, his 5-point economic plan for helping the middle class, tax reform, reducing regulations, repealing Obamacare, and other policies like that are really the way to help recover this economy, to address our deficit, and really get America back on its feet after the recession of 2008.
So Elisa, tell me why you agree with redistribution.
We live in a society in which we have the very wealthy who have billions of dollars, and then on the other side we have the homeless, people who are living well below the poverty line, and people who don't have access to housing and health care. Do we want to live in a country in which many of our citizens don't have basic needs? We have to support all of our citizens and not just those who, while some of them do work very hard, many of them were just born into their wealth. It's silly to think that those people who don't have everything that we have necessarily, I don't think that it's just because they don't work hard. It's because they don't have the means and because the government isn't necessarily helping them. And I think that redistribution is imperative for this society to maintain.
And Connor, what is your view on entitlements?
But in terms of entitlements, what I think the role of government is to get the government out of the way in people's lives. I think really if you reduce the amount of welfare we have, reduce dependence on government social programs, and more encourage private social programs through charities, churches, and other organizations, that can really help get people back on their feet.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Elisa and Connor, for joining me today. And remember, students, if you know that you will be by 18 years of age by the general election on November the 6th, register to vote today. Just go to www.votetexas.gov or stop by Ms. Gibson's room for a voter registration card. This has been Rebecca Mercer with your political segment of the month. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for watching. To see the full uncut interview, visit sacsbroadcast.com and click on the link on the banner. Last week, we posted the poll on Chicago teacher strike. 50% of you said the strike was completely unnecessary, while 20% said that it was reasonable and that would have done the same thing. The remaining 30% said that it was either not enough or that they are undecided on the issue. Be sure to go to sacsbroadcast.com to take this week's poll and make your voice heard. Now over to Amanda with the sports.
Hey everyone, it's Amanda Henderson with your KSAC Sports Report. Today we have the JV football team playing Holy Cross at 6 p.m., as well as the JV and varsity volleyball teams playing San Marcos Baptist at 6 and 7 p.m. Saturday, the cross-country team will be at an Islander Splash Run meet in Corpus Christi, as well as the swim meet at Incarnate Word Academy. Also, the football game for the varsity football team will be taking place on Saturday instead of Friday, and it will be at Holy Cross at 7 p.m. Now, for those of you that are sports fans, you might be getting a little upset with the replacement refs that are in the NFL right now. Fans are crying out that they have cost at least 2 NFL teams games this past week, week 3. Then these teams would be the Patriots and the Packers. The NFL is trying to solve this matter as quickly as possible, so make sure you stay tuned to current events. If you'd like to give your opinion on this matter, please go to sacsbroadcast.com to take the sports poll of the week. Thanks for listening, and now over to Spicy with our weather report.
Good morning, students. This is Spicy here with your KSAC weather report. For today, you can be expecting a pretty typical day with highs in the 90s and lows in the 70s. And as for tomorrow, you can be expecting rain. There's going to be a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms all throughout the rest of the weekend with highs in the 80s and lows in the 70s and 60s. So everyone be sure to do your best to keep dry. And for you girls out there, this is like 1 out of 3 times a year we get to wear rain boots, so better take advantage. Thank you guys so much for listening. Now over to Ronnie with your random fact.
Hi, this is Ronnie Hartman with your random fact of the day. Did you know that when hippos are upset, their sweat turns red? This has been your KSAC News. I hope you have a great rest of the week and also a great weekend. Thanks.